Hi everyone, I am Taylor McBroom, Marketing Specialist for School and Library at Houghton, Mifflin, Harcourt, Books for Young Readers. Today I'm going to be telling you a bit about our Fall 2020 teen titles and giving you a sneak peek at some of our Spring 21 teen titles as well. First, we have We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. Author Tracy Chee's previous New York Times bestselling series was fantasy, but in We Are Not Free, Tracy dives into her own family's history to share about the Japanese incarcerations of World War II. Tracy calls this book a novel in stories, as it follows 14 different teenagers through the beginning of the incarceration, their time in the camps, and their experience afterwards. These teens have grown up together in Japantown, San Francisco, and are as interconnected as they are conflicted. Each of these teens are living their lives, playing baseball, having crushes, struggling with their parents, but against a backdrop of racism and injustice that threatens their lives and their futures. This is a beautiful, heartbreaking, transcendent work that I think everyone should read. And if you need more encouragement, it was just named to the shortlist for the National Book Award for Young People's Literature. Graythorn by Crystal Smith. Brimming with deliciously mysterious magic, political intrigue, and a passionate heroine who will do anything to save the ones she loves, this highly anticipated sequel to Bloodleaf won't disappoint. After the tumultuous events of Bloodleaf, Princess Aurelia thought that evil had been defeated and she could return her brother to his throne in peace. But his life is upended once again when the kingdom she thought she saved falls to ruin, a loved one is tragically killed in a shipwreck, and her home country turns against her. With no place left to call her own, Aurelia returns to Graythorn Manor, her best friend's family mansion, only to find that Graythorn has sinister secrets of its own. With enemies closing in on all sides, Aurelia is caught in a mad fight to protect the only people she has left, her family. In her darkest moments, when all seems grim, will Aurelia find a spark of hope from a love she thought long lost? When Villains Rise by Rebecca Schaeffer. Dexter meets Victoria Schwab in this dark and compelling fantasy about a girl who is determined to take down the black market once and for all, in the conclusion to the trilogy that started with the critically acclaimed Not Even Bones. Nita finally has Fabricio, the boy who betrayed her to the black market, within her grasp. But when proof that Kovitz Azani, a monster who eats pain in order to survive, is leaked to the world, Nita must reevaluate her plans. With enemies closing in on all sides, the only way out is for Nita and Kovitz to take on the most dangerous man in the world, Fabricio's father. He protects the secrets of the monsters who run the black market. Stealing those secrets could be the only thing that stands between Nita and Kovitz and certain death. If you haven't read the series and want another way to catch up, this is also now a webtoon comic. Under Shifting Stars by Alexandra Latos. Audrey's best friend was always her twin Claire, but as they got older, they grew apart, and when their brother Adam died, Claire blamed Audrey for the accident. Now Audrey's attending an alternative school where she feels more isolated than ever. Tired of being seen as different from her neurotypical peers, Audrey's determined to switch to the public high school, rebuild her friendship with Claire, and atone for Adam's death. But she'll need to convince her parents and her therapist first. Claire knows her sister thinks she's the perfect twin, but Audrey doesn't realize that Claire's popular status is crumbling. She's begun to question old friendships, dress in Adam's clothes, and wonder what feelings for a non-binary classmate Taylor might mean. As she grapples with not only grief, but also her gender fluidity, Claire wonders where she'll belong if she sheds her carefully constructed image and embraces her true self. Will first crushes, new family dynamics, and questions of identity prove that Audrey and Claire have grown too different to understand each other, or that they've needed each other all along? Next is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Paige. From New York Times bestselling authors Cass Morgan and Danielle Paige comes a thrilling, dark contemporary fantasy about a prestigious sorority of witches and two girls caught up in its world of sinister magic and betrayal. At first glance, the sisters of ultra-exclusive Kappa Rho Nu, the Ravens, seem like typical sorority girls, but the Ravens aren't just regular sorority girls, they're witches. Scarlet Winter has always known she's a witch, and she is determined to be the sorority's president. But if a painful secret from her past ever comes to light, she could lose absolutely everything. Vivi Devereaux has no idea she's a witch, and she's never lived in one place long enough to make a real friend. So when she gets a bid to pledge the Ravens, she vows to do whatever it takes to be part of the sisterhood. The only thing standing in her way is Scarlet, who doesn't think Vivi is Raven's material. But when a dark power rises on campus, the girls will have to put their rivalry aside to save their fellow sisters. Someone has discovered the Raven's secret, and that someone will do anything to see these witches burn. Divided Fire by Jennifer Sanfilippo. In a rich fantasy world where songs literally move heaven and earth, one sister must use magic and the other must rely on strength to reunite when pirates, greed, and war tear them away from each other. Mirren has never allowed jealousy of her sister's magic keep her from taking care of Kessia, and Kessia has always depended on her big sister Mirren. When Kessia is kidnapped, Mirren will do anything to get her back, even team up with her sister's aristocratic and seemingly ineffectual boyfriend. Neither sister had ever left their small fishing village before, and now they are plunged into the wider world, minor players in a war between nations. Each sister faces external and internal perils, and each finds surprising allies and unexpected strength. How will the two find each other again, and what will become of them if they don't succeed? It Only Happens in the Movies by Holly Bourne. In this cool, smart British import, Audrey is over romance. While dealing with her parents' contentious divorce, shifting friendship dynamics, and an ugly breakup of her own that has caused her to walk away from the theater program that she loved, Audrey has every reason to feel cynical and depressed. But then she meets Harry, her fellow coworker at her new job at the local cinema. He's brash, impulsive, a major flirt, and wants her to star in the zombie movie he's making. And even though Audrey tries to resist, she finds herself falling for his charms as they make the movie, and he helps her rediscover her love of performing. But can Harry keep his word and follow through on his promises? In this funny, insightful, and ultimately empowering novel, love and life isn't what it's like in the movies. Curse of the Divine by Kim Smechkolm. In Ink in the Blood, Celia Sand and her best friend Anya fled the corrupt religion of Profeta into the refuge of the Raoul Mob, a traveling theater group. Celia and Anya use their tattoo magic to create their own act in the mob, and as a rebellion against the goddess Profeta Diavala, whose will the tattoos are supposed to reveal. Only they hadn't reckoned with the evil goddess coming after them herself. Although Celia and Anya were able to defeat Diavala with the help of their rabble friends, the price was high, maybe too high. In Curse of the Divine, the survivors must find a way to live with their guilt and find a way to destroy Diavala once and for all as she resurfaces, more wrathful than ever. More wrathful than ever, excuse me. Celia will do whatever it takes to save her friends, even if it means making a deal with the devil himself. Return to the world of inklings, tattoo magic, and evil deities as Celia uncovers the secrets of the ink in order to stop Diavala once and for all. Some Other Now by Sarah Everett. Before she kissed one of the Cohen boys, 17-year-old Jessie Rumfield knew what it was like to have a family, even if technically that family didn't belong to her. She'd spent her childhood in the lake house next door, challenging Rowan Cohen to tennis matches while his older brother Luke studied in the background and Mel watched over the three like the mother Jessie always wished she had. But then everything changed. It's been almost a year since Jessie last visited the Cohen house. Rowan is gone, Mel is in remission, and Luke hates Jessie for the role she played in breaking his family apart. Now Jessie spends her days at a dead-end summer job avoiding her real mother, who suddenly wants to play a role in Jessie's life after being absent for so long. But when Luke comes home from college, it's hard to ignore the past. And when he asks Jessie to pretend to be his girlfriend for the final months of Mel's life, Jessie finds herself drawn back into the world of the Cohens. Everything's changed, but Jessie can't help wanting to be a Cohen, even if it means playing pretend for one final summer. And here is a look at some of our Spring 21 titles. The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. From best-selling author Lynette Noni comes a dark, thrilling YA fantasy perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Saba Tahir. 17-year-old Kiva Meriden has spent the last 10 years fighting for survival in the notorious death prison Zalandov, working as the prison healer. When the rebel queen is captured, Kiva is charged with keeping the terminally ill woman alive long enough for her to undergo the trial by ordeal, a series of elemental challenges against the torments of air, fire, water, and earth, assigned to only the most dangerous of criminals. Then a coded message from Kiva's family arrives containing a single order: "Don't let her die. We are coming." Aware that the trials will kill the sickly queen, Kiva risks her own life to volunteer in her place. If she succeeds, both she and the queen will be granted their freedom, but no one has ever survived. With an incurable plague sweeping Zalandov, a mysterious new inmate fighting for Kiva's heart, and a prison rebellion brewing, Kiva can't escape the terrible feeling that her trials have only just begun. The Seventh Raven by David Elliott. Best-selling author David Elliott examines the timeless themes of balance, transformation, and restoration in this evocative tale about a girl who will stop at nothing to reverse a curse that turned her 7 brothers into ravens. When Robin and his brothers are turned into ravens through the work of an unlucky curse, a sister is their only hope to become human again. Though she's never met her brothers, April will stop at nothing to restore their humanity. But what about Robin, who always felt a greater affinity to the air than to the earthbound lives of his family? David Elliott's latest novel in verse explores the unintended consequences of our actions, no matter our intentions, and is filled with powerful, timeless messages teased from Grimm's fairy tale. Black and white illustrations throughout are by Rowena Kai. 16 Scandals by Sophie Jordan. Fans of Sophie Jordan know that she excels at Regency romance, and now she's bringing those skills to her YA readers. In this irreverent Regency romp by New York Times bestselling author Sophie Jordan, newly minted 16-year-old Primrose Ainsworth finds herself on a wayward birthday adventure through London with a mysterious hero. The youngest of 4 daughters, Primrose Ainsworth is used to getting lost in the shuffle. But when her parents decide to delay her debut into English society, Prim hatches a plan to go rogue on the night of her 16th birthday. Donning a mask, Prim escapes to the infamous Vauxhall Gardens for one wild night. When her cover is nearly blown, a mysterious stranger intercedes and Prim finds an unexpected partner in mischief and romance. But when it's revealed her new ally isn't who he says he is, her one night of fun may last past dawn. In this frothy Regency romp, perfect for fans of Austen-esque flirtation and Shakespearean hijinks, sometimes a little scandal can be a good thing. And finally, we have Dustborn by Aaron Bowman. If you love Mad Max Fury Road, this one's for you. Delta of Dead River has always been told to hide her back, where her map is branded on her skin to a rumored paradise called the Verdant. In a wasteland plagued by dust squalls, geomagnetic storms, and solar flares, many would kill for it, even if no one can read it. So when raiders sent by a man known as the General attack her village, Delta suspects he is searching for her. Delta sets out to rescue her family, but quickly learns that in the wastes, no one can be trusted. Perhaps not even her childhood friend Asher, who has been missing for nearly a decade. If Delta can trust Asher, she might just decode the map and trade evidence of the Verdant to the General for her family. What Delta doesn't count on is what waits at the Verdant, a long-forgotten secret that will shake the foundation of her entire world. And that's it. Feel free to reach out through email or on social media, and be sure to visit our resources library at hmhbooks.com/kidsresources. Thank you so much for watching.